You've probably been told that fatigue, brain fog, and stiffness are just what happens as you get older. That framing sells a lot of supplements, but it's not the full picture. Some of what we chalk up to aging is actually about daily habits, sleep quality, movement, and stress load. Chronic stress, poor sleep, and long stretches of sitting really do have measurable effects on inflammation, cognition, and energy. That part is well established in the research. What this video won't do is promise you a full biological reset in 30 days, or tell you that a breathing pattern flips a switch labeled autophagy. What it will do is walk you through a full day, morning, midday, afternoon, and night, using practices that are either backed by real research or are long-standing traditional techniques that are low risk and worth trying. Either way, you'll know exactly what's proven and what's still just promising or traditional. Let's start with your first 7 minutes awake. Within the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking, your cortisol levels naturally rise. This is called the Cortisol Awakening Response, and it's one of the most consistently reproduced findings in sleep and stress research. It's a completely normal part of your circadian rhythm, not a malfunction. Some research suggests morning cortisol is associated with heightened alertness and may support memory consolidation. But the idea that this window is uniquely programmable, as if your brain can only be rewired in these 7 minutes, is more marketing language than settled neuroscience. Your brain stays plastic throughout the day, not just right after waking. Here's a simple, well-supported way to use this window, instead of reaching for your phone the moment you open your eyes. Step 1. Slow breathing. This one is established science. Sit on the edge of your bed, feet flat on the floor. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold gently for 4 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 6 to 8 seconds. Repeat for 5 or 6 cycles. Here's why this works. Slow, extended exhalation reliably activates the parasympathetic nervous system and increases heart rate variability. This is genuinely one of the best supported findings in breathing research. Dozens of controlled studies confirm it, lowers acute stress markers and subjective anxiety within minutes. Step 2. 2 minutes of intention setting. This one is more framing than proven science, though it does draw on traditional mindfulness practice. Sit quietly and think through your day, or state a simple intention to yourself. There isn't strong evidence that this rewires specific neural pathways, but brief mindfulness practices are well tolerated, and many people find them genuinely useful for focus and mood. That's a reasonable, honest reason to include this step, rather than any specific claimed mechanism. Sitting for long, unbroken stretches is associated with worse cardiovascular and metabolic outcomes, independent of how much you exercise otherwise. This is well established across large population studies. There's also real research on the glymphatic system, a fluid clearance pathway in the brain that's most studied during sleep, with some evidence that cerebrospinal fluid movement is influenced by posture, breathing, and the cardiac cycle. But specific claims like fascia losing exactly 1% of its hydration every year, or cerebrospinal fluid only moving when your spine moves, go well beyond what's actually been measured. Treat those as oversimplified, not fact. What is well supported is simply this: get up and move your spine and joints periodically throughout the day. The spinal wave. This is a traditional movement practice, though the general benefit of moving more is established. Stand with soft knees. Tuck your pelvis, letting the movement roll up through your lower back, mid-back, upper back, and head. Then reverse it. Continue for 2 to 3 minutes. There's no evidence this floods your brain with fluid, but gentle spinal mobility work is a reasonable, low-risk way to break up sitting, which, as covered above, is worth doing regardless of the specific mechanism. Joint circles. 1 minute each on your ankles, knees, and hips. This is a traditional mobility practice. It's low risk and generally sensible before a long sitting period. By mid-afternoon, most people hit a natural energy dip. This is partly circadian. There's a well-documented post-lunch dip in alertness tied to your body clock, separate from what or how much you ate. The vagus nerve is real, and it is the primary channel of the parasympathetic or rest and digest nervous system. Polyvagal theory, the specific framework describing dorsal versus ventral vagal states, is popular in therapy and wellness spaces, but it's contested among neuroscientists, and some of its specific claims aren't well supported by current evidence, worth flagging clearly rather than presenting as settled fact. The forward fold posture. This is a traditional practice with a plausible but not fully proven mechanism. Sit forward, elbows on your knees, head below your heart. This resembles positions used in certain clinical vagal maneuvers for a different purpose, like slowing a racing heart. Gentle forward folds are associated with a calming effect for many people, though robust research on general, everyday use is limited. Box-style breathing with a hum on the exhale. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 8 with a low hum. Here's a genuinely interesting one, and it falls under some evidence. A well-known 2002 study by Weitzberg and Lundberg found that humming substantially increases nasal nitric oxide release compared to quiet exhalation. That's a real, measured effect. What's not established is that it produces a large, lasting increase in nitric oxide throughout your entire body, or that it multiplies systemic absorption by some specific factor. The real finding is narrower and more local than that, but it's still a legitimate, interesting piece of science, and it doesn't need to be inflated to be worth mentioning. Established science. Autophagy is real. Yoshinori Ohsumi won the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discovering the genetic mechanisms behind autophagy, your cell's process of breaking down and recycling damaged components. This mostly happens continuously at a low level and is known to increase during fasting states and in response to certain metabolic signals. What's not established is that a specific breathing pattern, like a 4-4-8 count, triggers, times, or increases autophagy. I want to be direct about that because this is the claim that made earlier versions of this kind of content misleading. There is no research connecting breath count ratios to autophagy rates. If you see this claim elsewhere, it's worth being skeptical. What breathing before bed does have real support for, and this is established science, is that slow, extended exhale breathing is one of the better evidenced ways to reduce the time it takes to fall asleep and to calm pre-sleep arousal, likely through the same parasympathetic pathway covered earlier in this video. 4-4-8 breathing in bed. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 8. Repeat for 10 to 15 cycles. This is a reasonable, well-supported wind-down practice, just not a cellular repair switch. Legs up the wall, also known as Viparita Karani, this is a traditional yoga posture with some evidence supporting its relaxation benefits. Lie down with your hips near a wall, legs extended upward. This is a restorative pose widely reported to feel calming, and it's sometimes used for mild swelling relief in the legs. Claims about lymphatic drainage being accelerated by some specific multiple aren't backed by direct measurement, but as a comfortable way to end the day and support the breathing practice above, it's a reasonable thing to include. So here's what you can honestly expect if you build this into your day. Better stress regulation from the breathing work, some benefit from breaking up long sitting periods, and likely easier, faster sleep onset from the evening wind down. Those are real, evidence-backed outcomes. What I won't promise you is a specific number of days until your biological markers transform or that this reverses aging. Consistency with basic, well-supported habits, movement, breath, and sleep tends to compound over weeks and months. That's a fair thing to say without needing invented statistics to back it up. If this was useful, take what applies to you and leave the rest. There's no fake urgency here, just a straightforward, honest set of habits worth trying. Production note: the established science and some evidence claims above reflect well-known findings in sleep, stress physiology, and respiratory research, the Cortisol Awakening Response, heart rate variability and slow breathing, the post-lunch circadian dip, Ohsumi's Nobel Prize for Autophagy, and the Weitzberg and Lundberg humming and nasal nitric oxide study. If you'd like a citation list for the video description or a pinned comment, that can be prepared separately.